This slide gives you a practical weekly challenge, and it brings together the main idea of this module. Thoughts are not always facts. During this week, your job is to notice one thought that keeps coming back again and again. It may be something like, I always mess things up, nobody understands me, or I will probably fail. The goal is not to fight with the thought or pretend it is not there. The goal is to notice it clearly. Once you notice the recurring thought, label it. You can simply say to yourself, this is a worry thought, this is a self-critical thought, or this is a future fear. Labeling helps you step back from the thought. Instead of getting pulled into it immediately, you begin to observe it with more distance and more awareness. Then pause before believing it. This is the most important shift. Many of us automatically accept our thoughts as true, especially when they are strong or emotional. But in this module, you are learning to slow down and question that habit. Ask yourself 3 simple questions. First, is this a fact? A fact is something clearly true and supported by evidence. Second, is this a story? Sometimes the mind creates a story based on fear, past experience, or assumptions. Third, is there another explanation? This question opens the mind. It reminds you that one thought is not the only possible interpretation. This challenge is a real-life exercise in mental clarity. In the next slide, you will learn a structured way to write this process down so you can understand your patterns more deeply. This slide introduces the thought journal, which is a simple tool for becoming more aware of how your mind works. After learning to notice and question recurring thoughts, the next step is to record them in a clear sequence. Writing things down helps you slow your thinking and see connections that are easy to miss in the moment. Start with the situation. Ask yourself, what happened? Be specific. For example, I saw my test score, or my friend did not reply to my message. Then write the thought that came up in response. This might be something like, I am not smart, or they are upset with me. Next, notice the emotion connected to that thought. Did you feel anxious, sad, angry, embarrassed, or frustrated? This is important because thoughts and emotions often influence each other very strongly. When you identify the emotion, you begin to understand how one thought can shape your mood. After that, write an alternative perspective. This does not mean forcing a fake positive thought. It means finding a more balanced and realistic way of seeing the situation. For example, instead of I am terrible at everything, an alternative perspective might be, I did not do well on this one test, but I can improve. Or instead of my friend is ignoring me, you might write, they may just be busy. Finally, record the action you chose. This step matters because your thoughts influence your behavior. If you believe a harsh thought immediately, you may give up, avoid people, or react impulsively. But if you pause and choose a more balanced perspective, your action may become calmer and wiser, such as asking for help, studying again, or checking in with a friend respectfully. This journal is not about being perfect. It is about building awareness. Over time, it helps you recognize patterns in your thinking and make better choices. In the next slide, you will reflect on what you discovered through this practice. This final slide invites reflection, which is where a lot of learning becomes meaningful. After practicing with recurring thoughts and using the thought journal, now you take a step back and ask what you have learned about your own mind. The first question is, which thinking trap appears most often? This helps you identify your mental habits. Maybe you often expect the worst, judge yourself harshly, or assume you know what others think. Recognizing the pattern is an important step because once you can see it, you are less controlled by it. The second question asks, which visualization helped most? This connects to the earlier practices in the module that may have helped you create distance from your thoughts. Different students connect with different methods. Some may find it helpful to imagine thoughts as clouds passing in the sky, while others may prefer imagining them as leaves floating down a stream. The key point is to notice which method made observing easier for you. The third question is, did observing thoughts reduce stress? This is important because mindfulness is not only about understanding the mind. It is also about changing your experience. When you stop treating every thought as a fact, there is often more space, less pressure, and less emotional overload. The final question is, what did you learn about your mind? This is the broadest and perhaps the most powerful reflection. You may have learned that your mind repeats old stories, reacts quickly, or tries to protect you in unhelpful ways. You may also have learned that you are capable of noticing thoughts without being controlled by them. This reflection completes the module in a thoughtful way. It reminds you that mindfulness is not about stopping thoughts. It is about understanding them, relating to them more wisely, and making room for clearer, calmer choices.